hear that, right? Put that on.
Hang on. Is this on the right side?
You can reverse it if you want. It goes both ways.
Oh.
Okay, that's Josh's, the tap. You're hearing that, right? That should be you.
Test.
And that's me. Good evening and welcome to the broadcast here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel as we welcome you to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and our matchup tonight for the Central Riverhawks in this Division 2 Section 1. You called it what?
Regional semifinal.
That doesn't even make any sense. It's the second round. The River Falls Wildcats taking on the Central Riverhawks. That's Nami George. I'm Joel McCall. We'll be joined by Josh Buxton in just a second as he's coming down the corridor. 9-13 are the Wildcats. 5-9 in the Big Rivers Conference. Obviously, they're in Division 2. Ian Stick is their head coach. This is 10th year as a head coach with them, 16th overall because he was 6 years with the VR. He actually called it the JV, so I was more familiar with that. And on the other side then for the Riverhawks, 11-13, 7-5 in the Mississippi Valley Conference. They finished third in that conference, and head coach is Q Roberson. We had an interview with him. You can see that already up here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel. We're joined now by Josh Buxton. Josh, you hear me okay in that?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect. And I got you as well. I think he can turn himself up a little bit, you bet. You're going to be quiet, I understand. We only want to hear you select times. But
just randomly
right,
as needed.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Let's start with the River Falls Wildcats. Finished the regular season at Menominee 1 week ago. Lost 66-33 as the number 1 seed ran over River Falls. The Wildcats also had a very tough and rough shooting night. 14 of 43 field goals and just never got any momentum. It was a drastic change from the home finale where River Falls defeated Memorial. Well, the Riverhawks would know a little bit about that, beating Memorial. Coach Stick said, we've played really well at times and then not so great at other times. We are both familiar, all three of us are familiar with the inconsistency. Coach Roberson's talked about it, now Coach Stick. These two teams are very comparable when you look at stats too. So Nami, I'll go to you first. This game, and I do want to make mention that we have a sponsor tonight too with Kratt Lumber, just for providing us for the video tonight. But these two teams, very comparable. I think it's going to come down to the little things throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We know it's going to come down to what we always say, turnovers, limiting your turnovers. But I thought Coach Q in his pregame hit on something that I think is going to be really important, and that's going to be defensive rebounding. And he said we can't allow them to have 3, 4, 5 opportunities at the basket. We need to have them come down one shot. You know, they're going to hit some, and he said that. They're going to hit some. They got some good shooters. We need to make sure that we rebound the ball and only give them one opportunity.
The two teams did meet in River Falls on January 24th where the Wildcats won by 5. Coach Stick did point that out in his email stating, hey, we have to travel here tonight. The Wildcats had a hot night shooting against the Riverhawks, and Alana Simpson for the Riverhawks really struggled. River Falls also hit some clutch free throws to end the game. These two teams, as I said, very similar. So the thing that I would say is if you put them on paper, I actually don't know if either coach would be able to figure out which stats are theirs because they are so comparable. The one thing I would say is that the Wildcats don't necessarily have a number 1 shooter. Their averages drop is 9 points, then it drops off from there to 8, 8, 7. So as a defensive coach, which we know Coach Roberson is, and I'll go to you on this, Buxton, is when you don't have a number 1, how do you try to game plan for that?
Well, if they don't have a number 1, the idea is basically keep everybody away from the basket. You know, the hardest part when you're dealing with, or I should say the easiest part when you're dealing with a team that has a girl who excels, you know, more so over the others, is you game plan around her, figure out a way to stop her, and then just hope nobody else burns you. You know, when you have a team of a bunch of girls who are averaging 9 or 8 or 7, you know, you can kind of generalize a game plan because you don't need to do a whole lot of specific. I would see, probably if I were a bet man, you know, I'd say a lot of tonight will be a lot of their base defense. It's probably not going to get real flashy. Maybe throw a zone in here or there. I don't know how good of shooters the River Falls girls are. But if they get hot, you know, Coach Q will have a plan to kind of take them out of the rhythm and get them off what they're doing.
Pizzi did that against them the first time, had 5 3-pointers in that game. Senior Ella Peters is actually the girl that I'm most excited to watch for River Falls. Strong rebounder, defender. Stick said Ella's been a beast throughout. My question of the night, what will River Falls shoot from deep? Because Pizzi had 5 threes the first go-around, and they don't shoot that well overall. Let's move over to the Riverhawks because I'm so excited for that. They did mention, Josh, you are a little quieter than us. That's it.
Before we move on to the Riverhawks, did you notice? No, well, we'll do that later. But did you notice when Coach Q was doing his interview, he talked about a defensive game plan, and he kind of smiled a little bit? I'm wondering. I thought what Mr. Buxton said. I thought they'll come on a base defense and maybe as well. He had a little bit of a grin on his face when he said, hopefully we execute our defensive game plan. I'm wondering if we see something different here. Some playoff defense, something, maybe a little wrinkle that he hasn't shown yet. I just had that sense, and we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
True, he did have kind of a sly cat smile like he just ate the mouse.
Yep.
Central, one of their finest team efforts last week to wrap up the 2022-23 regular season, winning fashion 68-53 over Sparta. Coach Roberson and I talked about it too. Miss Levicek, once again, 30 points, 9 rebounds, while Simpson filled up the whole box score, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Gracie Hartung, story of the night, 10 points, 3 threes, 4 steals. We've stressed how others need to be involved in the offense. It's come together as of late. And I'm going to move on to my next point real quickly because we gave a ton of love to the boys and the coaching staff last night, and they certainly deserve that. However, these girls and this coaching staff deserve their flowers too. Central has won 5 of the last 6 since the loss to the River Falls Wildcats. Nami, show this team some love.
Well, I think they're easy to show love to, especially lately. What did you say? They won 5 of their last 6?
5 of the last 6.
Yeah, they've been playing really well. And you know, we talked about it in the pregame or the pre-tournament video that we did the other night. This team could easily be a 15-16 win team. The ball hasn't bounced their way. Now you get to be 0-0, and now maybe you start getting some of the breaks that you didn't get during the regular season. This is a team, talent-wise, when you look at them and you watch them play, this is a team that can make a deep run.
So go ahead.
They need the ball to bounce their way. They need to play smart. Coach Q talked about offensively settling down and taking good shots. We've seen them come down sometimes, shoot shots that he does not care for and I don't care for. If they can come down, be patient on offense, and then really buckle down on defense, this is a team that there's no reason they can't come out of this sectional, really.
What has changed during this nice winning streak, or 5 of 6? Alana Simpson scoring 14 points per game. That certainly helped. And the Riverhawks have allowed just 44 points per game. Central's defense has always been good, and my word for success has been mucking up the game. The Riverhawks are doing that and getting some timely scoring, Buxton. We've talked about it all year long, how they need others to help out. Simpson's made a leap now, as we talked about her potential early on in the season.
Well, it's interesting because I actually had a really long conversation with Coach Les today at school. And we were kind of talking about the keys for tonight and how the season has gone and, you know, looking at their sectional. And there really isn't a team in the sectional that Central can't beat. You know, they can compete with anybody. And he came up with a stat. He was checking their stats for a little while, and he said, we're 11-1 when Miss Levicek and Alana hit their averages, turn the ball over less than 10 times, and we get at least 5 baskets from the bench. We're 11-1. Their only loss was to Sauk Prairie, who is a fantastic team.
Yes.
If they do that, they can compete and beat just about anybody on any given night. So it really does come down to the others. You know, how much can the bench players give? How much can Chloe Ackerman do? How much can some of these other kids get off the bench? If they can score, you know, let's say the bench scores 15 points tonight, we'll win. You know, that's what they need. You know the stars are going to do the job. You know Torgard's going to be taking charges, getting some timely buckets here and there. It's what are the 4 or 5 kids coming off the bench? What can they contribute to the win tonight?
And one thing that really stuck out to me in our last girls basketball broadcast was what Nami said. Surprisingly, he hit on something nice. We take Brittany Miss Levicek for granted. And I don't want to do that here. We likely won't get another chance to discuss how special she's been wearing a Central uniform. The senior has scored, I told you I was going to have this, 20 plus in 12 games this year.
Wow.
And several more where it's 15 or more. I didn't do that. We just expect it every night. Nami, you asked me who the MVP is. There's no doubt in my mind it's Miss Levicek, and we should not take her for granted this evening because this will be the final time we see her on this floor.
Special talent. You don't see them come through very often. We knew it right away. We talked about that before. Knew it right away that she was going to be good. I can remember when I was coaching and watching her in elementary school and knew she was going to be good. She's just an athlete that carries herself differently. And, you know, I feel bad that we've taken her for granted these last couple games because we don't talk about her as much because we just expect it. We expect her to go out and dominate the game. She faces, you know, a face guard defense. The other teams know who she is. She's not surprising anybody. and she's still able to put up her 20 to 30 points. It's really fun to watch.
My question of the night for the Riverhawks: whose muck will be more successful? These two teams, I don't even expect Buxton this game to get to 50 points per team. So I really think you got to go back to that and say, can the Riverhawks defense apply that pressure, keep the scoring low, and then get some timely buckets? And that's why I've used the term muck, because I just think that's what they need to do tonight.
Yep, and the Riverhawks will close the lanes down. They're going to make passing very, very difficult. You know, River Falls is going to get their shots. They just are. It's a matter of, you know, like you mentioned, giving up 1 to 0 offensive rebounds per possession. If you give up 1 shot per offensive possession, you're going to be just fine. But what also wouldn't surprise me if we saw the Riverhawks running a little bit more this game.
I agree.
You know, getting the ball into the basket, getting it to a guard quick, and filling lanes and getting on the court. You know, against a team that likes to muck it up, how do you defeat that? You don't give them a chance to set up the way they want. You get the ball down the floor in transition, get an easy bucket, maybe hit somebody in the block real quick, get a nice, you know, quick basket before they have a chance to get where they want to be. So I'd like to see the Riverhawks get up running because we're a very athletic team, and I'd like to see us do it tonight.
We are here tonight to cover the postseason game, and we wouldn't be able to do that without our great sponsor. Nami, you can hit on that before we get to the national anthem.
Absolutely. Kratt Lumber. We're very thankful to Kratt Lumber. Kratt Lumber's been the best in the lumber business for 75 years. We hope that you partner with Kratt Lumber for all your lumber needs. Premium products, superior service since 1948. We thank you, Kratt Lumber. Listeners, viewers, make sure you support Kratt Lumber because they're supporting us tonight and bringing this game to you.
We will get down there to my son's favorite spot, the national anthem and the flag lowers. National anthem over with. Starting lineup.
And now let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting River Falls Wildcats, a 5'5" senior, number 5, Olivia Pizzi. 5'7" junior, number 10, Kia Strop. A 5'11" senior, number 12, Ella Peters. 5'6" junior, number 21, Emily Van Oustal. And a 5'11" junior, number 22, Jordan Schwantz. River Falls is coached by Ian Stick. And now, let's meet your Central Riverhawks. A freshman, number 1, Alana Simpson. Senior, number 3, Gracie Hartong. A senior, number 5, Brittany Mislivacek. A senior, number 10, Sienna Torgerud. And a freshman, number 21, Chloe Ackerman. Central's coached by Quartel Roberson. Officials for tonight's game, Ben Liebel, Eric Jones, and Casey Olson.
What'd you have us about there?
About there.
Okay.
Once again, Mr. Hansen takes over the calling out the official duty.
He sure did.
So we got that taken care of.
How about the keys tonight then for the Wildcats? Attack the bucket, dribble through contact, more disciplined on offense, and make Central defend multiple offensive actions. Defense, Coach Stick mentioned, got to contain Miss Levicek, got to rebound. Miss Levicek has the tip, drops it down to Simpson on the low block. Back out, Miss Levicek, top the keys. Central has it first, playoff action. Simpson fading away off the backboard, too strong. Rebound out of there by the River Falls Wildcats. And Van Osdale is the point. Bounce to her in the corner. Kick back over to the far side. Peters, top the key three-pointer is up and good by Pizzi. 5 of them against Central earlier on in the season. River Falls won that game by 5.
Going to have to close out on the shooters better than that. Can't give her wide open looks.
Ackerman over the far side, back to Torgerud, and on this near side, Hartung.
You know, Joel, it was interesting that Coach Stick mentioned in his email that even though we beat them head-to-head, we still had to come down here for the playoffs. You can guarantee they talked about that all week up in River Falls.
Yes, and Miss Levicek, head fake, comes to the free throw line just behind it and scores. 3-2, River Falls.
Talked about the boys' seeding process. I'm sure River Falls felt like they got the short end of the stick having to travel down here tonight.
Yes, and our first time out, we'll talk about all the games that are happening throughout, too, as this Section 1 has a ton of games happening. Number 1 seed Menominee playing Hayward will be the 2 winners of this game, and that game will meet up tomorrow. And we have a foul on the floor. That's on Hartung, her first. Inside, got it up to Schwantz. And look at that again. Torger is going to have to deal with a bigger-bodied, down low, a taller offensive weapon there for the River Falls Wildcats.
Nothing new for Torgerud. She's been doing that all year long.
Strop with the head fake gets all the way inside. And again on the floor. This is not a shooting foul for Kia Strop. So right away we're seeing River Falls attack the basket.
More so than I thought, although a lot of their attacking is to set up that three-pointer. You know, when you're attacking the basket, girls drop down and help, leaving people on the perimeter wide open.
And Gracie Hartung, who had a big game the other night, already with 2 fouls, and she'll have to sit. Working down low again is Schwantz. Ball come loose. Torgerud tried to pass it off. Could not. Back up to Strop and traveled with it, trying to attack. A turnover there on the River Falls. We'll come back to Central. The Big Rivers Conference, River Falls finished 7th. We've talked about Central. They finished 3rd in the Mississippi Valley Conference. Alaska fans will be mad at me for saying that. They tied. Biondo over the far side, who had subbed in. Miss Levicek, top of the key, kept her dribble alive, back off to Torgerud. Spin move. Attacking by Torgerud. I like to see that, Nami. There's your favorite, getting inside.
Yeah, and
forcing some action.
Kind of like Boston for the boys, any offensive production you get from Sienna is a bonus. You expect her to play good defense. You expect her to rebound. You expect her to take charges. But if she can score, that's bonus points for you.
Miss Levicek, deep three-pointer. No good. Off the front rim, in fact, grabbed by Peters on the long rebound. And still 3-2 River Falls leads. Corner to Pizzi, who has the three-pointer, and Miss Levicek steals it away from her. 1-on-2, in fact. Miss Levicek goes all the way down and is fouled on the way up and is heading to the free throw line for a pair. I love the action by Miss Levicek there. Doesn't have numbers, not going to stop.
You know, that's one of the things that gets overlooked with Brittany is her defensive capabilities. You know, we talk about her offense and her offensive game, which is fantastic. She can get after it on defense, too, with big, long arms, able to get in, disrupt the ball handler.
Well, that's exactly what you talked about, Buxton.
Yeah, you got to get on the run. You know, one of the things that you guys mentioned, a little bit of the boy stuff and talking about Brittany a little bit. Brittany reminds me a lot of Nick Williams. Never really frazzled. Going to get a shot whenever she wants. And when she, you know, her defense is vastly underrated.
Well, there's a freshman playing some solid full court defense for Ackerman. Pizzi back over to Van Osdal. Back out Pizzi, three-pointer, short, rebound, Miss Levicek. That's an odd form by Pizzi, too.
That was a good defensive possession for the Riverhawks. That bothered the Wildcats there with their active defense.
Correct. Simpson had it down low for a sec, had to come back out. Instead, far side, Torgerud and Coach Roberson. This is how important Torgerud is. It was the Holman game that we talked about for that highlight reel, and then we kind of wrapped up the regular season. But that's how important Torgerud is. Another ball handler, short for Miss Levicek. Rebound, Pizzi for River Falls. 4-3 after those 2 free throws went in for Miss Levicek. Central has a lead of 1. Far side, Peters getting in, but that shot short. And a rebound, Ackerman. Active hands by Ackerman, too. I don't know if she actually got a piece of that as Peterson was going up with the shot. Certainly looked like it. 14-20. Clock moves, first half. Biondo taking a deep 2 off the backboard, and that's all. And Miss Levicek called for reaching into the cookie jar. That's the 3rd foul on Central, 2 on River Falls.
That's going to be a key tonight, too. You know, we've seen this team at times, players get in foul trouble, and that really affects what they try to do. You know, Miss Levicek obviously can't get in foul trouble. We saw what happens when Torgerud gets in foul trouble. Simpson has dealt with foul trouble. They're going to have to be careful with those. Those are the kind of fouls like that one there that you don't like to see.
Van Osdal brings it across the timeline, but then Miss Levicek pulls the rug from her, falls over. Miss Levicek on another steal. Down low to Thomas. Flip shot's good. Quick offense, Buxton once again.
And bench players scoring. They do their job, and I like our chances tonight.
Great find by Miss Levicek, too.
Yes, and Pizzi for another corner 3-pointer. This time no good, but the rebound falls into the hands of Schwantz, who scores. Tough rebound there for River Falls. And up ahead, Savage was wide open but missed the layup. Everybody forgot about Bella. Got open on the left block.
I think she was surprised at how wide open she was when she turned around.
Pizzi was open for a half a sec too. Simpson closed for River Falls. 6-5 Central leading. Pizzi inside. Scoop shot. Oh, soft touch. Climbed up and over the front rim and scores. 7-6. Like the action by Olivia Pizzi.
That's a nice move. Smooth.
Miss Levicek over to Miss Savage. And Biondo and her not quite on the same page. That was almost a turnover. Simpson, deep 3-pointer. 3! Mendes for Alana Simpson.
Caught that ball and shot it with confidence. You like to see that from the freshman.
Just the 6th 3-pointer for her on the year. 5 of 30 coming in here tonight. Oh, you got it. They had open down there was Peters. River Falls completely missed her.
How about the Central student section getting into it?
Well, thank goodness, because I told them I wanted to hear them.
Yep.
Schwantz too strong. Biondo finds it. 9-7. Simpson attacks. Going right after Van Osdal.
And that's one of Alana's biggest skills, one of her biggest threats as a ball handler. She moves 2 speeds. And if you're not ready for both of them, you're in big trouble because it's one step, especially with her long legs. She'll get right past you. And she's got enough athletic moves that if you are not squaring her up, she's going to score on you just about every time.
Oh, Torgerud on the inbound. Right back out to Miss Levicek. 12-footer, too strong. Simpson over on the far side for the rebound. Torgerud had a wide open layup.
Oh, my goodness.
Simpson, backboard, no good. 3rd, 4th chance goes in for Simpson and a foul. My goodness, the rebounding for Central on that play, but they also missed 3 bunnies on that entire sequence. And a timeout by River Falls. 11-7, 12:07 to play in the first half.
How about the pass fake by Simpson? The defender fell for it, was 2 feet away from her by the time she actually drove to the basket. I was hoping she could have finished that off the first time. Of course, then she wouldn't have got an and one, so maybe she was thinking ahead.
Right.
Well, you always got to be looking out for your stats, though. You want to miss those easy ones. You get that quick double-double, maybe before halftime.
Want to remind everybody that you're getting the game tonight because of Kratt Lumber. Thank you to Kratt Lumber, our game sponsor tonight. Without them, we would not be broadcasting tonight, so thank you, Kratt Lumber.
Correct. I got to handle these 2 yahoos throughout the entire broadcast. I'll hope to get a word in once in a while. I'm just kidding. I am very thankful now that we do have the 3 headsets. And, Buxton, you haven't heard me say it because you haven't had the headsets on, but I always say pad the stats. That's what Simpson was doing right there.
Always, always. Double-doubles are millions in the NBA.
That's right. And Simpson gets the free throw after that timeout. 12-7, Central leading. We hit the 12-minute mark in the first half. Schwantz
Good
misses.
defense down low.
Yes, I was thinking
Make
the
that
same
shot
thing.
difficult. That girl's big. You got to get in her face. Can't give her any freebies.
Burke over on the far side misses. Jolowitz, who had just subbed in, had positioning, got the rebound. Thomas there on the arm. And so the foul, that's the 4th foul on Central. 4 fouls on River Falls as well. And it'll be inbounding, looks like Strop will inbound for River Falls. Biondo out, and Brooklyn Lockington coming in, who missed some games throughout the season too. Glad to see she's back out.
Saw Coach Roberson get a little frustrated there. This is what he talked about, not giving them second and third opportunities. Got to rebound the ball.
Oh, that's a nice pass. A little low look, but Strop not ready for it. Comes in. Oh. And attacks Miss Levicek. That's her second. What I was going to mention before they called the timeout for River Falls, their main point guard is Emily Van Osdal. She now has 2 fouls. Miss Levicek with 2 fouls. Gracie Hartung with 2 fouls. Well, the fouls starting to pile up. Way outside is Burke. And thank goodness we got clarification on her last name. That last E always throwing me off. And cutting inside, that pass knocked away by Ackerman. Freshman to freshman, Ackerman to Simpson. Everybody settles down. That's one thing Coach Roberson talked about in his interview as well, is to slow things down a little bit. Don't panic. This is a little bit different lineup without Miss Levicek out there, and she's going to have to sit for a while with those 2 fouls. Central has to find offense a different way.
Here's where I'd like to see Torgard step up. See if he can hit her in the low block or the short corner. Attack the basket. Or do that. That works too.
Simpson inside the paint.
You know what, though? That was set up by Torgerud, cutting through and attracted a lot of attention, and that opened up a lane for Alana.
And it's times like this where Alana needs to be a little more selfish.
Yes.
She's too good of a player, and she's very pass first.
And an offensive foul called on Jolowitz. Yes.
Great job, Chloe Ackerman.
We have seen the growth of the freshman Chloe Ackerman, especially since the holiday break. And that is the first foul on Jolowitz, 5th foul then on both teams. I completely agree with you, Buxton. Simpson's got to be a lot more selfish and got to shoot a little bit more. But also the nice pass work by the Riverhawks. Don't force a shot. There's no reason to force anything. Back out Simpson, quarter court. Lockington, short corner. Thomas wasn't there for Simpson, who cut through. Thomas had cut to the high post. That wasn't open either. Torgerud back out. Ackerman off to Simpson.
Love watching Lockington. Look at her just waiting for the ball to try and launch a 3, and you know she'll hit it.
Simpson tried to attack, came back out.
A lot like my offense. Sit out 3-point line, drain one.
Ooh, reach across the body, but no foul called. Had the ball first, and Coach Roberson calling a timeout. Must not have liked just the aggressiveness on the cuts. They were there, just weren't getting open. Good defense there by the River Falls too. 14-7 our score. 9:51 to play in the first half. Central leading, and again, this I'll mention the playoffs then and how many games there are, because there's a ton of them in the girls, obviously, because of the playoffs starting tonight. 160 games. Holman is at Marshfield for D1. Rice Lake at Onalaska. I mentioned earlier Menominee and Hayward. The winner of this gets the winner of that game. There's also Toma at New Richmond, and then Luther is at Aquinas. So I want to make sure I mentioned them too, because they're part of the Mississippi Valley. You Big Rivers Conference fans, I didn't write down all yours. Sorry. Lockington, far side.
Oh.
3-pointer off the heel. Comes out to Thomas, though. Second chance opportunity here for the Riverhawks. Miss Levicek still sitting. If you're just joining us, 2 fouls. Simpson all the way inside the paint. Shot's good.
Boy, it's fun to see her step up with Miss Levicek having to sit for a little bit.
She's the first in double figures tonight with 10. Corner drive, Strop nearly lost her footing, and Brooklyn Lockington having to deal with Torres down low, which is another height advantage for River Falls. And Lockington hit her on the arm.
You know, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised they're allowing that middle penetration as easy as they are. Usually a Coach Q team, coach team cuts that off, stops penetration early, doesn't give them the opportunity. She's getting to the basket really, really easily. You have to shore that up here pretty quick.
Some tough dribble drives by River Falls. And oh my goodness, they called a foul on Torgerud instead of the tie-up with Burke.
That puts them in the bonus already with 9:15 to go.
You got it.
That was a tough foul there.
7th foul on Central, 5 for River Falls. Would have liked to see that one called the jump.
Same.
I'm sure the River Falls YouTube channel next to us was probably thinking otherwise. Ooh, hit the rim 3 times, then falls through for Burke.
I forgot to adjust that after the boys' game last night.
Yeah, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Girls are on the right side right now. Advantage of the second half, that's what you're thinking.
That's right.
And off the heel, strong rebound by Torgerud. 16-8, Central leads by 8. We'll see where the lead is when Miss Levicek comes back in. Can Central find offense without Brittany, the senior leader? And Ackerman didn't set, and an offensive foul on Ackerman on the screen. .8:58 first half. And Van Osdal does come back in with her 2 fouls for River Falls.
13 fouls called in the first 9 minutes of the game.
Yep, that's all I'm going to say. There's Quinn, who just subbed in. Head fake Jolowitz. Quinn, and an offensive foul on Quinn, and guess who takes the charge? Do I even need to say her name?
No, the Vegas line was pretty stacked heavily towards Sienna Torger tonight.
For how many? What's the over-under?
I think we're looking at 3 or 4 at this point. With how she's getting in kids' faces, would not surprise if she took 2 or 3 charges tonight.
Completely agree. And Coach Roberson mentioned she has over 20 charges taken just on this season. What's that for a high school career then?
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Oof.
And
Well,
she's good at it. It's a skill. I mean, that's not something that just happens. It's a skill.
It's a skill, and it's a fear thing. You
Right.
cannot be afraid, and clearly Sienna's not afraid of hitting that ground. She's very much padded up, and this is what she needs to do.
Oh.
She's got to finish those shots.
Got her own rebound, steps through, goes up.
Gets fouled.
Quinn is called for her second, so Torgerud gets a charge on one side on Quinn, attacks her on the other side, and gets rewarded with 2 foul shots coming. So that's the 7th foul on River Falls, so it's bonus time for 7:59 remaining in his first half. Torgerud good on the first. As far as free throw percentage goes, then Nami,
Nope,
you can
you're
talk. 66% for River Falls as a team. Central 62.
I was just going to kind of compound on what Josh was saying. The fact that you have to have no fear. It's hard to stand in there and let somebody just plow you over, even if you have position. I'm just impressed that she does it every game. I mean, what does she average? 2 or 3 a game? It's just really, it's amazing, really.
The only bad thing is that when her basketball career ends in an open gym, they'll never allow her to take a charge. Nobody will ever call it. Oh, Thomas reaching in on the entry pass to Torres. That's one you got to lay off. Let Torres have the ball because she has the positioning, but then play your straight-up defense. Savage in because Thomas is out with 2. So far, though, Central has weathered the storm with Miss Levicek on the bench. Free throw coming for Torres, off the mark, and Savage had it go off of her, out of bounds, and it'll stay with River Falls. Boy, she was there for the rebound, too, had positioning, just got to snatch it out of the air. Far side, 3-pointer, Peters off the mark. And rebound Simpson, but got caught with the Wolf. Burke pokes it away. Back to Van Osdal. Crossing over on Biondo. Dribble drive penetration by Peters. First one from deep didn't go in, but that does. A little kiss off the window. 18-10. Central up by 8. Over halfway through the first half. Simpson takes the 3-pointer. Yes, sir! 2 3-pointers for Simpson. She's up to 13 now in the first half, and big points for the freshman star.
How about Alana Simpson when we need her most? stepping up to the challenge.
Oh, everybody left. Torres down below. They missed her. Did River Falls. Peters dribble drive. Kick out. Van Osdal. She doesn't do anything with it. Burke gets all the way inside. Turning, looking. Peters on the run. Shot short. Rebound. Simpson.
Great defense there by the Riverhawks.
Looks to push. Can we get another 3-point? I'll pull the trigger on a 3-Mendes for you. Instead, Simpson inside. What a pass by Brooklyn Walkington to Alana Simpson. Remember her name, as for the next 3 years, she's going to be an absolute beast for the Riverhawks. Peters all the way inside for a left-handed layup. Quiet the crowd. And this broadcaster, 23-12. 6 minutes to play in the first half.
Seeing Simpson grow up here right before our eyes. It's happened all year long. She's really exhibiting her growth right now. River Falls has no answer for her.
Not at the moment. She's wowing the Central Riverhawk student section too and kind of energizing them. Inside. Shot's good!
They cannot stop her, Joel.
Fading away. What difficulty that is. She's a freshman. Van Osdal. Boy, that should have been travel. Off. Over to the far side to Jalowitz. Van Osdal three-pointer. Hit the piping up above, out of bounds. And this crowd is energized, and a lot of it has to do with number 1, the freshman at 5'11" guard, Alana Simpson.
And I'll tell you what, it's not just that Alana's scoring right now. They're scoring enough that Miss Levicek does not need to come off the bench.
Key point.
He can sit for another couple minutes as long as you can maintain, extend that lead, get good shots. At some point, River Falls is going to have to pull out of this zone, guard him.
It's
And
9-4.
That's advantage us.
9-4 is the run right now with Miss Levicek off. It was 16-8
Yep.
when that happened.
And if River Falls is going to stay in the zone, we'll just keep the ball up top. We got a 13-point lead, 5 to go. Make them come out. Now look to go around them. There you go. Now go around them.
Now you go downhill.
And a foul called with Simpson driving. You guys, I mean, you're calling it. You guys are hitting on every key right now because River Falls has to get out of that zone eventually and start manning up. I don't really want to use that term, but that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, and you have to earn the right to play a zone. With no shot clock, you have to earn the right to play a zone.
Hey, don't get me on that.
if you're down 13 points with 5 minutes to go in the half, you can't sit in the zone. You need to come out, and Central did a nice job as soon as they came out, exploiting that by getting the ball to Simpson and going to the basket.
And that's got to be such a frustrating feeling. You know, generally teams play zone when either they're, not strong man-to-man, or they think they have something in their back pocket that the other team can't handle. And to have Central come out and hit shot after shot, get to the basket, get rebounds, it's very demoralizing.
Pizzi on the dribble drive, kicked it out. Strop on the wing, it rolled in and out.
And we'll see it again here. Simpson's going to stand up top, make them come out. They're up a little higher now.
Yeah, I was going to say Simpson got to watch herself.
Yeah.
And it is Peters on her, which is a little bit of a change because that's the length. As Ackerman had it lost it, Strop with the steal. Thomas trying to take it away. Peters splits a double team and goes down hard. Let's see who that is on. That's on Ackerman, her second. So Chloe just got to be a little bit stronger with the basketball, and then Peters at the foul line for a pair. Peter, that's a senior right there stepping up for River Falls.
River Falls got a little fortunate there, too. The deflection went right to their player.
Yeah, and Sine did exactly what she's supposed to. Stop the transition, slow it down, got the tip. It just happened to fall right into the cutter's hands for an easy basket attempt.
Those are breaks we've seen against the Riverhawks all year long. That's kind of what I was talking about in the preview show. Those breaks have to start going our way here pretty soon.
Maybe the second half.
Maybe.
Peters.
Or maybe the second round if we're fortunate enough to win.
There you go. Play tomorrow night. The winner of this against Menominee or Hayward. 25-14 after the two made by Peters. Simpson had missed the last two. Lockington open. No good. Rebound there. Peters. She is all over the rebounding right now for River Falls. In fact, she had over 130 defensive rebounds on the season. And the dribble drive there by Strop is good.
That was a nice move to the basket. Aggressive. River Falls needed that.
25-16. back under a double-digit lead. Torgerud corner. Cutters aren't quite there. Torgerud shielding. Inside, shot is short. Had the look she wanted, but couldn't finish. Peters looks up ahead. And again, all the way inside. Ball got loose as Jalowitz, and a travel called as that ball came out to Thomas. 3:20 left in the first half. Double bonus time for River Falls, as 10 fouls plus on Central. 8 fouls for River Falls, so still 1-1 for Central. Possession arrow does go to River Falls at the moment.
Can't have those unforced errors. There's no defense around there. Just
Peters taking the three-pointer. Kind of lulled her into that one. She's 0 for 2 from deep.
And we're very fortunate because River Falls is getting a lot of open shots.
Yes.
And them not knocking it down is...
and what a dribble try by Simpson again.
anybody happen to see Coach Sticht on that one?
Yes.
Just put his hands up in the air like, what are we going to do with this girl?
Now that, to me, almost looked like a travel.
Euro step.
Euro step.
Okay.
It's the new thing, Joel.
It's not new, but... Oh, Biondo standing there.
They're calling a tight game.
They are. They're calling a tight
calling
game.
it both ways. You can be, I don't love when they're calling games like this. As a coach, it would be very frustrating. Hugh is clearly frustrated by this.
Right.
But to their credit, they're calling it on both ends.
Right.
Hard to argue at that point.
The thing about it, though, is playoff time, you'd like to see it be a little bit. There's no rhythm to this game at all. It's whistle all the time. 18-plus fouls in a half. It's just too much. Let them play a little bit. I'm not criticizing the officials.
No good on the second one for Strop. She shoots 72% at the free throw line with 1 of 2. 27-17, Central leading. I feel like I'm a airport traffic copter out here trying to keep traffic moving between the two of you.
Wait till we start arguing. We've been agreeing so far.
Well, luckily the board is near me. Torgerud at the top of the key.
So you're saying you could mute Buxton if you need to? I got
both of you.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you what, when that arguing starts, people are going to be mashing that like button.
Simpson underneath, fadeaway jumper's good. Alana Simpson once again, 29-17, 2-minute warning first half, Central leading. Playoff atmosphere here. Sutton Gymnasium. And inside, diving on the floor, we have a timeout, I believe, called.
Foul.
Oh my gosh, they called a foul. Oh, they called it on Burke.
So what happened was Simpson dove on the ground to get the ball, and the River Falls girl just kind of jumped on top of her.
Maybe she was looking for the pin.
Yeah. Great play by Simpson, getting low. Coach, what do you tell all those 8th graders? The lower you get, the better chance you have of getting the ball. First one on the floor gets the ball. Simpson showed it right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, every drill we do in practice, low man wins.
Yep.
Every single time. That is a direct quote from Hall of Fame coach Tony Service. Low man wins.
The newly inducted Hall of Fame coach.
Newly inducted. Not quite in yet, not until August.
Nominated.
Yes, nominated. Selected.
That
was the last of the 1-and-1s. And on the head, Schropp goes inside. She'll have 2. Torgerud foul. That's her second. That was the final 1-and-1. Simpson had missed that. And so coming back down on this side is Strop. Good on that for Kia Strop.
I have a couple shout-outs. Should I do my first one?
Yeah, please.
All right. Micah Mosley, listening to our broadcast, he said he tuned in tonight to hear me spit all my knowledge, so I hope I'm spitting enough for you.
Well, you're out by now. We're at 1:45 in the first half.
So Micah can probably turn it off now. That's about all I got. Thanks, Micah.
Well, no, he can still listen. He's just not going to hear anything knowledgeable from you. Alyssa Brixon coming in for the first. We haven't seen Brixon play for quite some time for Central, but it's nice to see her out there. She got the rebound. Down on the near side, 29-18 after that free throw is missed. And Buxton hit on it. Miss Levicek, the 2 fouls. This lead actually grew to 11. Biondo, far side. This is the problem, though. You got Lockington and Biondo. Really, Lockington will shoot a three-pointer here and there, but that's about it. Brixon. Biondo's not much of an offensive threat either. Simpson's got to come back to that basketball. Peters all over her, but Simpson does get it under a minute. Biondo, dangerous pass. Peters reaches across Simpson. That's Peters first, and 2 more free throws coming. This time it'll be the end of the 1-and-1, and 2 for Simpson. Everyone to get comfortable in the first.
As a coach, that's a very frustrating foul to see. You know, the players coming across the court, yes, it's kind of a ripe opportunity for a steal, but when they're moving away from the basket, moving further away from the glass, you don't want to foul them.
Especially in the double bonus, give them 2 free throws.
And Simpson had position.
Yeah.
You know, she's the one. She had the right to the basketball. Off the heel on the second one. 30-18, 12-point lead. Schwantz, corner, Burke. Good defense down low by Thomas. Can't get another foul if you're her. Cut it off. Pizzi, who's been quiet ever since that early three-pointer. Inside, and Thomas reaches across. And Schwantz heads to the free throw line for 2. Thomas, that's actually her 3rd. You're writing down shout-outs, aren't you? Well, we do want to give a shout-out to Kratt Lumber, too, as being our sponsor tonight, helping us out. We wouldn't have been able to do the broadcast without you. So thank you to Kratt Lumber.
Best in the industry since 1948. And a block from my house.
Really, they're that close,
They
huh?
are. They're close. Great Southside business.
1 of 2 at the free throw line, 30-19, just 20 seconds remaining. So Simpson and the Central Riverhawks probably holding for the last shot. The Savage head fake, Biondo back out to Simpson. 15 seconds.
Let's watch
And
Simpson on a dribble drive and Lockington on a long 3.
I'm just thinking the same thing. She needs to reset herself. Step back three-pointer.
And foul. And
Got in there! Yes, it was! An and 1 3-pointer. Who reached in that? I got to see the number because I did not see the defender.
Number 10.
That is on Strop, her 2nd, and a rare 4-point play. I think we've covered every home game so far for Central. I don't remember a 4-point play until just now. 1 second left. What a heave!
Wow.
By Schwantz.
That is a center fielder type. Jeez.
Get her the softball. 34-19. Huge shot. We had ties at just 3. Since that time, the Central Riverhawks have led, and they go into halftime with Brittany Mislevicek sitting for almost the final 10 minutes of the first half, and yet Central leads by 15.
What a dominating performance by Alana. That was impressive. What'd she end up with that half?
I'll have it for you. I'll have it for you.
Now. That was as dominating of a half as I've seen this season, boys or girls. I mean, that was just, well, I shouldn't say that because Nick had the first half against Caledonia. That was dominating as well.
I wasn't here for that, though. That doesn't count. 26 points for Simpson in that first half.
26.
26 points for Simpson in the first half. I had her for 5, 6, 7 twos, 3 threes, and 3 at the free throw line.
And that's, she can do that. You know, I've been privileged enough to watch her play basketball enough over the last 4 or 5 years with my daughter on the team and the team with her for a little while. And once she's comfortable and once she's feeling it, you are in big trouble. Because unless you've got an absolute stud lockdown defender, she will abuse the defense.
For those people that have followed Central for a long time, reminiscent of her daddy and the way Les used to play. Dominant player as well.
Absolutely.
Great basketball player, great football player too. But that's what he would do. He would just take over the game, and you can bet he's beaming in the locker room right now. We're only halfway there, so we can't celebrate yet. But after that first half, what a performance by Simpson. And you're right, it was huge because we needed her with Mislevicek having to sit for a little bit. And what a benefit for Coach Q to be able to not feel pressure to have to put Mislevicek back in there and risk getting another foul.
Yeah, and that's going to be the important part is you get through halftime. And you start the second half, and you could turn Brittany loose because you're not worried about getting the fourth. She gets a third foul, that's no big deal.
Correct.
You still have, almost an entire half. And we talked in the pregame about those bench players having to do, their role, do their part to score. Well, when your starter scores 26 in the first, it kind of it nullifies that thought a little bit because she's just taking over.
Yeah,
And it's been
Yes.
fun to watch.
26 points for her, 4 points for Miss Levicek, who averages 20, nearly 21. Torgerud with 2 and 2 from Thomas. That's it. And then 3 of 6 from deep for Central and 7 of 11 at the free throw line. 11 free throws on the other side for the River Falls Wildcats. They go 6 of 11, 1 of 7 deep. So you talk about the difference in the two games. River Falls shot really well from deep in that first matchup against Central. They made 7 of 14 3-pointers, and tonight they're 1 of 7 at halftime. Pizzi had 5 points, 6 points for Peters, 4 for Strop, 3 for Schwantz, and 1 point for Burke. And yes, it does actually add up to 19, so done something right up here tonight. Can we fire that over?
Absolutely.
Mr. Buxton, he's producing us too. Of course, he's got the headset on. And we do, as we said earlier, we want to thank Pratt Lumber for being our sponsor tonight. Again, there is a fee to do a playoff game, to do the video, and they helped us out in order for you at home to watch this as a free broadcast here on the YouTube channel. Pratt Lumber, there you see it. As 608-788-2600 is their phone number. Thank you again to Pratt Lumber, because, again, we wouldn't be doing this up here without them.
Ready for another shout-out? I got a bunch of them tonight. Playoff time. It's time to do shout-outs.
Well, the two that you wrote down there are about the most important because you got yelled at last night.
I did. Even though we've shouted them out before, they must not have been tuned in, but hopefully they're tuning in right now.
Well, apparently they're going all the way back through all the broadcasts to find it.
We talked about Nick Williams earlier on. Couple times here tonight. Nick's 2 older sisters are listening in, and they enjoy our broadcast. Brittany Williams, who played basketball here for 4 years for Coach Q, played for us a little bit too.
I coached her on the varsity reserve level.
There you go. Yeah, and
that's awesome.
Great basketball player, and then of course Adacia Williams, who played up at Logan. When I first started coaching, Adacia was playing for Logan. Coach Buxton will tell you that Adacia Williams gave me nightmares trying to stop her. Oh my gosh!
The day she graduated was a phenomenal day in our coaching career.
You know how River Falls had no answer for Alana Simpson. We had no answer for Adacia Williams. She was a lot like Nick. Could score anytime she wanted to.
She played Sacred Heart, right?
She did.
4 years of Sacred Heart. Very good basketball team.
And great people. So we're happy that you turned in. We hope you enjoy the broadcast. Hope you're listening this time so you hear the shout out so I don't get yelled at. I don't want Mama coming up and yelling at me again.
Right. Get your other one out there too, because I thought you had one more. And then we want to thank why we're doing this with the 3 headsets.
Absolutely.
No, we're not doing that.
Yep.
Okay. We are not. Never mind.
My other shout out is Coach Q's daughter, Jakira Abraham, who is an HSA graduate. She is now going to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. One of my favorite kids of all time, and I'm glad she's tuned in. Usually she's at the game, but she must have had something going on. Must have class or final, or no, not finals yet. Must have had midterms, maybe midterms.
Yeah, I bet it's midterms.
Yep. So she couldn't be back in town, so glad she's watching on the
The
broadcast.
finals should be well over with.
Yeah.
This will be the new semester.
New semester, yeah. Well, then why aren't you here, Jakira? You should be here. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. And keep tuning in. Stay with us.
Let's talk a little bit about other games that are happening then. We kind of ran through them very quickly earlier on. So in this particular section, which is Division II, Section 1, we hit on it earlier. Menominee, the number 1 seed, facing Hayward, the number 8 seed. The 2 seed in this section is New Richmond. They're hosting number 7 Toma. And then Onalaska versus Rice Lake. Why did I write that down as a different date? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, no, I didn't. This is the day's date. And then Central versus River Falls, that's the 4-5 matchup. So those are all the games. The 2 games that happened prior, I do want to make mention of that too, because Toma defeated Sparta. So Sparta's season's over with. They won 44-30. That game was on Tuesday night prior to all the snow happening up here. And then Hayward defeated Logan to move on to play Menominee tonight. That game was 58-47. I actually got to watch a little bit of that game too up on, I think that YouTube. Somebody had that streaming, and I was able to watch a little bit of that. The first half was really close, and then the second half, things kind of faded there for Logan. So
we got some of the Logan girls sitting behind us here watching the game, watching some of their friends from Central. I saw Ada Thurman walk, Ada Curry, as I call her, because she hits all those threes.
Right.
But Ada Thurman came in here supporting their friends from Central, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. And best of luck moving them forward next year for Logan and the Rangers. We had really nice email from their head coach throughout the year too, so do appreciate that. And I do want to make mention of our next broadcast, which of course isn't going to take place until the boys basketball game. They'll face either Hayward or Toma coming up on the 3rd, so a week from today. That's our next broadcast for us.
So another whole week off, huh, Joe?
Right, yep.
Yeah.
Then the girls, if they win tonight, they would play Menominee or Hayward. If Hayward happened to win, if Hayward would actually win, then Central would host. But, of course, Menominee is the number 1 seed in this section as well. So 34-19 our score. 2 minutes left here before we get rolling in the second half.
Nami, did you get all your shout-outs done?
Nope, I got another one. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for one.
All right. This is another one of my favorite students, Health Science Academy grad.
You can't have 35 favorite
I'll
students.
tell you what, when you work with the kind of kids that I get to work with every day, you have a lot of favorites.
Well, true.
This one's one of my favorites. This is Catherine Axness, daughter of Principal Jeff Axness here. Catherine also going to the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Nice.
And she was at the last game. I don't know why she's not here tonight, but she was at the last game, the boys' game last night. Always tunes into our broadcasts, and I know she likes listening to us go back and forth with each other. So thanks, Catherine, for tuning in. Come back and visit sometime. We miss you at the HSA. We need your help, actually. We're working on our portfolios right now, so we need you to come back and help us. So we got to set that up.
I will say that when I worked inside the school district as a classroom supervisor, if you can believe that I actually did that for a while, I come to find out that I had 25 favorites as well. So I understand where you're coming from, Nami.
Can I throw a couple things out there, guys? Do we have time?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We ran
First
through
and foremost,
stats.
I wanted to thank the Lacrosse Central Alumni Association. I have the pleasure of knowing Mr. Dan Hunt for years and years and years now. And it is scholarship season down here at Central.
Right.
And they donate multiple thousands of dollars for our graduating seniors.
60 grand this year.
60 grand for our graduating seniors to help with tuition costs, to help with living expenses, to help with all those things. And Dan is relentless in his selling of 50-50 tickets.
Yes, he is.
I
was surprised he wasn't doing that tonight.
Yeah, well, I think for a playoff game he probably can't.
Oh.
But, he normally is out there every night and gathering money after money for our Central kids. The last thing, Nami, can you pan over to the student section real quick? It's a lot of people wearing purple tonight. Today would have been Abeline Mitchell's 18th birthday, a student who passed away. Would have been a graduating senior this year. Today was her 18th birthday, so all of her friends wore purple in her honor tonight.
It's really cool.
I could have worn my purple shirt
Should have, yeah, you would have fit in.
You were telling me I could.
As a Vikings fan, I got lots of purple at home. I could have loaned you something.
I had a purple and purple tie, but I figured I would get chastised for wearing purple here. Inside Hartung with 3 chances. Simpson, Miss Levicek, and Hartung.
I'll help you out, Joel. Don't wear the purple when we play Onalaska in the playoffs if we do.
Well, I'd never do that.
Okay, good. Then you'll be okay.
Okay. Pizzi on this near side. So here we go, 34-19, just getting started for the second half. And Miss Levicek tipped that out of bounds. Off of her, back to the starters with Hartung, Ackerman, Torgerud, Simpson, and Miss Levicek.
For one of these shout-outs, I'm going to have to say this person was not one of my favorites, just to throw you guys off.
Yeah, I know.
If you have a list, I can tell you which kid you should probably pick.
Schwantz picked up her dribble inside. What a nice feed. Peters missed it, though. And then Miss Levicek reaching in after Peters missed the shot. Yep. Got to leave that one alone. Third for Miss Levicek, and here comes Lockington.
Yep. And that's the worst case scenario after that first half.
48 seconds. That's all she played.
Yep.
And
most nights I would agree that that's a dire situation, but the way Simpson's playing right now, she's carrying us.
But here's the thing. Miss Levicek was guarding Pizzi. We'll see if Pizzi can get going with Lockington on her now. Ackerman with some really nice D, stopping Strop. Pizzi back out top the key. This is Quinn. Scores a freshman. Nonetheless, another freshman. Talked about how good the freshmen are in the MVC. And Simpson inside. And a jump ball called between Quinn and Torgerud. Simpson missed that shot.
And the Riverhawks get the ball back, and that's one of the things Torgerud will do for you. Another thing that doesn't show up in the box score, but another possession for the Riverhawks.
Ackerman just got to play stronger with that basketball. Strop Wait, is that on Torgerud?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yep, that's all we're going to say. Third foul on Torgerud, second foul on the Central Riverhawks here in this second half. So foul trouble starting to creep in. 3 fouls for Thomas, 3 for Torgerud, 3 for Miss Levicek. You also got to worry about Gracie Hartung and Chloe Ackerman with 2.
That was a tough foul call. And we'll end it there.
Brought across and then off to Peters. Back over to this near side to Strop. And inside, Schwantz missed it. Got her own rebound. She's trying to pad the stats. She's caught in the corner. And do we get a timeout? Yes. Coach Stick decides to call the timeout.
Which was a good timeout. She was trapped in the corner there, did not have her dribble.
No.
Had nowhere to go. So
Even the pivot, she was just kind of sitting there. There's no way she's going to step over the defense.
So River Falls coming out with a little urgency here in the second half. Riverhawks are going to have to match that.
But you can't do it by fouling. You have to be aggressive, but at the same time, you have to be smart about when to be aggressive because they have been calling a tight game throughout.
And that was an adjustment I thought we'd make a little bit better than we have so far. You know, Coach Q, the coaching staff, is knowledgeable enough, though, if they're going to be calling this ball tight, you've got to be careful with the reaching. You've got to be careful, you know, on rebounds. You've got to be careful with all that stuff. And to see us come out and get a couple real cheapies, it's tough to watch.
The problem with that is it's instinctual, and Brittany's been doing that all year long, and it hasn't been a foul, and now you get to the playoffs, and all of a sudden it's a foul. That's hard to, I mean, after 24 games, to all of a sudden that be a foul, that makes life difficult.
Well, and Torgerud's out too, so once again, where's the ball handling coming from for the Riverhawks? Peters inside. Lockington's on her. That's a tough matchup, but it ends up going 5-hole. Goal to Quinn, and off to Stick out of bounds. Playoff hockey's right around the corner too, boys.
Very excited about that.
You should be. Hockey's fun to watch.
I agree with you. That's why I said I was very excited about that.
He's a Minnesota guy. He's all about hockey.
True.
Yep.
I'm an Iowa guy, but I still like playoff hockey. Off to Ackerman, top the key. Wing to Simpson. You can't get stagnant either if you're the Riverhawk defense or offense. Lockington, deep three-pointer. Off the mark. Ackerman, high off the glass and in.
Yeah, I think the next probably 4 or 5 minutes are going to come down to Chloe Ackerman and Gracie Hartung. If those two can score, if those two can put a couple good possessions together right in a row, I like how things are going to go.
But you can't lose Olivia Pizzi, as that's her second three-pointer.
The growth of Ackerman this season has really been amazing. Remember early in the season, she was not playing any varsity minutes. She was playing on the VR.
Right.
So she's come up and now is giving quality minutes, played good defense on a possession earlier, was able to get a scored last time down. That's just invaluable for this Riverhawk team.
Corner to Simpson. Step back. She's double teamed. Shot over it. And ball to Peters. Outlet pass. It's a Schwantz. And lost it off of her leg. Great defense by Simpson to hustle back. And, of course, Schwantz is not your standard guard. She's more of the forward post player.
And I would, if I were coaching the Central team right now, I would like to see a nice, long possession. Okay, we don't need, you don't need a jump shot over a double team. You got an 11-point lead, 14 minutes left. Work the ball around, see if you can burn some clock, see if you can get a nice, easy layup. This is perfect.
Yeah, especially with the foul trouble. The more clock you can burn on your offensive possessions, the better for you.
Correct. Brooklyn Lockington having to deal with that length of Peters.
And honestly, if I were the Central Riverhawks, I'd get the ball to Katie Biondo. Just get her outside the three-point line. They're not coming out to guard her. Get her the ball. Force them to switch. Force them out of the middle. There we go.
Quinn has come out to guard her a little bit tighter.
And this is a matchup. Hold on to the ball. This is a line that should go right around this girl.
This is against Schwantz. Gave it off to Hartung. Corner, Ackerman, back out to Hartung. Simpson, top of the key. Biondo giving her a screen, backs up.
Hold it right there. Hold
right?
it, bring it right back out. If they're not going to guard you, make them guard you.
Biondo could stay 35 feet from the hoop, and they haven't come out.
Yeah, we've burned over a solid minute on this offensive possession.
Just what Coach Buxton ordered.
Right. I mean, he called for it, and that's exactly what the
And
Riverhawks
now
are
look
doing.
at how wide open the middle of that lane is. So
Right.
if Gracie gets out, we are looking at essentially a 5-out offense. Very drivable right to the middle of the floor.
And Simpson does just that. Gets inside and scores.
What a possession. Star that one.
Minute and a half.
Wow.
And they got a layup.
They got a layup out of it. 13-point lead, 38-25, 13 to go. Schwantz.
Oh, my goodness.
Schwantz had the rebound, ended up falling over after Stromp had the layup missed. And the third foul on Hartung. 38-25, 12:57. Second half. Inbounding will be Peters. River Falls down. Off to Strop. Driving in. Ackerman shuts down the lane. Comes back out to Quinn, who lost the handle. We do see Van Osdal coming in for the first time. Oh, what a drop pass to Peters. Peters ends up with the basketball. And another foul called underneath. This time I would actually consider that a foul on Peters because Ackerman has the position.
The officials disagree.
I know they do. Peters to the far side. 4 fouls on Central. None on the Riverhawks thus far.
Come on now.
There's a difference between calling a tight game and calling every possible touch. I think we've shifted that way.
And we've had good officiating all year long. It's a thankless job.
4th foul there on Ackerman, so she'll have to sit. Alyssa Brixton coming back in.
But jeepers creepers.
Well, going back to
what
what you said in the first half, Nami, there's not a lot of rhythm and flow to this game.
And on the other side, then, after the missed three-pointer, Quinn, Peters had the three-point shot attempt. And that's the first foul on River Falls. Central's got to be careful because 2 more puts River Falls into the bonus, and we haven't even hit 12 minutes yet. Under it, anyway. Biondo, far side, Ackerman, or pardon me, Lockington off the backboard,
Good rebound
and
by
Brixton. Yeah, Brixton.
That's big. Now you can get the ball out, run your offense again.
Far side for Lockington. Back up to Biondo. Savage would report in. I did not see that earlier. Simpson. Quinn almost stealing it from Simpson inside. Stops, pops, good. Took a shot to the face, too. To boot on the follow-through. 40-25.
Well, she's got everything working tonight offensively, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. Peters curling over on the left side. And Brixton called for a foul.
It would be one thing if these were fouls that we see all season long. The problem is there's going to be contact as a defender. The only other option is to move out of the way and let them go to the basket. I don't know how you defend if that's a foul.
Full timeout called by Coach Roberson, 40-25 as the Central Riverhawks lead, but 6 team fouls already at 11:40 in the second half. That means bonus time all the way through the remainder of the second half here for River Falls.
Let me shout out Pratt Lumber so I stop thinking about what's going on out there.
Hang on a second. I'm going to flash that sponsor screen.
Awesome.
Perfect.
There we go.
Yes, I was going to say we need to refocus, re-energize this broadcast a little bit and get away from what is actually taking place with the whistles.
That's right. Pratt Lumber, our sponsor
Hard to
tonight,
do.
bringing the game to us. Otherwise, we would not be able to broadcast tonight. Pratt Lumber has been the best in the business for 75 years. Partner with Pratt Lumber for all your lumber needs. Premium products, superior service since 1948. Thank you, Pratt Lumber.
Thank you, Pratt Lumber, for allowing us to do this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Otherwise, we'd be sitting at home. Actually, I'd be here at the game anyway, but still.
Wouldn't be as fun.
No.
No.
It's always better with a headset because I yell a lot more when I don't have the headset.
Yeah.
Nami has seen full throttle of what I look like as a fan, and it's not great.
Can I give a quick shout out while we're on a break?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to tell Andrew Elwer to stop texting me things I should be saying online about these refs right now. That would be great.
I also want to give a shout out to Rob Schiff because he's here tonight with Channel 8. We always do it. He follows me on Twitter, and he likes like everything I do, so I'm always going to pinpoint him. And plus, I watch Channel 8 all the time. And Peters back out, and charging in is Strop. Brixen on the foul. That one, okay. Strop, 2 free throws coming.
Channel 19 also here.
Yes, Channel 19's
Got
also
some
here.
media coverage. That's good.
Yes.
Scott Emmerich with Channel 19 does a great job, too.
Seen anyone for the Tribune yet. Normally I see James, but I don't see him tonight. Sure somebody's here covering it, though. Strop, first and second goes through for her. And a full court pressure being brought on.
Hold it.
And a reach-in foul called on Strop. So here's the problem that River Falls could have with this full court pressure, is if you're calling a tight game and you reach in, well, therefore they should be called a foul every time because there's going to be body contact.
Yeah. And they look like they're aggressive, too. You know, if Central runs the correct press break, they might be able to sneak an easy layup on the other end.
Remember how long 30 seconds of game time took yesterday in the boys' game?
Yes.
This 11 and a half is going to take, I hope people
Another
are.
hold. There it is.
Yep, and that's a reach-in foul on Burke.
Yeah.
Everybody at home better get a Snickers because we ain't going anywhere for a while. We're going to be here till 9 o'clock with this.
Don't say that. You know why at the All-Star game there isn't a free throw contest? Because nobody wants to see it.
Well, we're going to see it tonight.
I agree. And again, we do not criticize the officiate. And Simpson should not hold on to that basketball. She doesn't. Out to Biondo. And across half court to Brixen. Over to Simpson, and everybody will sit. And we have time by the officiating crew. Oh, there was something on the floor. Well, that's good because you don't want anybody slipping. We don't need injuries now, or ever, for that matter.
Central did a nice job there breaking the press. Got a 2-on-1. River Falls did a good job getting back to not give them a layup, but that's what you're going to have to do is pass the ball quickly up over the top.
And Simpson going around everyone. Left-handed shot, no good. Peters reached in on the Brixen shot to partially block it. And up ahead, Pizzi. Scoop layup, good.
Nice move by Pizzi.
Been impressed with her.
I have too.
10 points. She's the first in double figures for the River Falls Wildcats.
Nice little scoop layup.
Over to Biondo, and a travel.
So this will be interesting. Can Central handle the pressure?
And here comes, I figured this was coming, Miss Levacek as well as Torgerud. If you're going to put on the full court pressure, you got to put your guards back in there that can handle it. And Coach Roberson does that. And the reason why, if you're just joining us wondering, well, where is Miss Levacek? She's been on the bench because of the 3 fouls. Torgerud the same, 3 fouls.
They both
4
need
for
to play,
Ackerman.
They both need to play really, really smart ball here for at least the next 5 minutes.
Van Osdal over to the far side, curling around. Jalowitz, Pizzi, 3-pointer, good again. Olivia Pizzi, her third 3-pointer. And Miss Levacek, you know she's not going to stop. Lockington down low. Van Osdal collides with her, and Lockington going to the free throw line for a pair. Van Osdal, that's her third. Remember, she sat for quite a bit of time for River Falls in the first half with her 2 fouls, and she's one of the leading guards as far as point guard and dictating the offense for River Falls.
Did you see the respect Miss Levacek got there? As soon as she got the ball in the middle of the court, the defense stopped the trap, stopped the full court pressure, and just sprinted back because they knew they weren't going to be able to trap Miss Levacek.
Yeah, River Falls got a really hard trap on that first pass coming out of bounds, but that's an all or nothing.
Right.
You know, if you get the ball in the middle of the floor, like I said, you get it up floor, you're going to have a 3-on-2, 2-on-1.
Lockington 0 for 2, but then the rebound came right over to Brixen to Miss Levacek, who scores, and that is Brittany Miss Levacek's only 6th. Well, that's a travel. Boy, Jalowitz got away with one. Peters inside, drops it off, and Schwantz scores. But Miss Levacek, that's only her 6th point of the game. Over to Simpson, and look up.
Look up.
Brixen, wide open layup. Oh, she missed it.
Too much time to think about it.
Yep, and got it back and scores.
She needed people around her to make it.
Really?
That's a hard one.
Yes.
That's a tough shot.
It is. I completely agree. Even in like open gym, I've had that before and totally blew the bunny.
I've seen Nami miss that shot thousands of times.
Drive inside, Schwantz had it for a moment, still saved it up. And a fight on the floor and a foul called. as Burke was the one that had the layup first but missed it. And it's free throws coming for Peters. (44-34), 10-point lead for Central. Oh, I forgot to write down the first half score. Nami, where were you on that one?
And I don't know it either.
35-19 maybe?
Something like
that
that.
right?
Something like
That
that.
does sound right.
I know
And-
Alana outscored River Falls on her own.
Oh, wait, I have it anyway. 34
While you're
to 19.
While you're figuring that out, I think we have to give Coach Q and his coaching staff a little bit of credit. As frustrating as this game has been, they've kept their composure, they've kept the girls focused on
Yes.
what's at hand, what they can control.
Peters goes 1 for 2 at the free throw line, 44-35. Central leading this playoff game. Winner would take on Menominee or Hayward. We have not heard anything as far as a score on that, and that is a foul on Schwantz, her third. Teams, let's see if they added it already. Is that the 5th or is that the 6th? What do you have, Buxton?
That's 5th.
5th. Thank you. As I forget that the score bug here, you can see the fouls as well because Buxton's all over everything.
Good backdoor cut there by Gracie.
Agreed.
Get the defender on her back.
Simpson out to Torgerud. Curl wasn't open inside. We'll see if Miss Levicek can kind of get her momentum back. Great save by Hartung. Miss Levicek off the rim, no good. But when you sit for that long, sometimes it's hard to get back into the rhythm of the game. Peters driving off to Quinn. Drop down low to Schwantz.
Nice move.
Well, Miss Levicek can't foul. And
Oh, my word.
That's a nice move, though, a little up and under. Talk about something different. Up and under, just didn't get the finish. But she's going to go to the line anyway.
Torgerud her 4th. And it'll be Schwantz at the free throw line. Well, Miss Levicek obviously didn't want to foul either, which is why she didn't battle much for that offensive rebound.
And a good job by Coach Stick to realize that and
Right.
go right at her.
Now Torgerud out, back in Thomas. And we see Strop come in for Jolowitz. Second one's through for Schwantz. She is up to 7 points. And Miss Levicek actually bounces it off of Strop's foot. She's saying, I need help. I think that's what she reiterated
And
after being
I agree with her.
trapped.
Somebody needs to cut to the middle of the floor. Nobody was there when she turned to look.
Hartung will come into inbound at the C over in the far, far corner of the gym.
It's great to pass the ball quickly, but people need to be where they're supposed to be then.
Timeout by Coach Roberson as that inbound was taking too long as well. 8:39, 44-37 right now, and that would be 18 points in the second half for River Falls and 10 thus far for the Riverhawks. We've only had the tie at 3-3.
I do have an update from Menominee. My brother-in-law and Central Varsity baseball head coach Joe Branson texted Menominee's up 50-45 with 7 minutes left in the second half.
That's a tight game.
Sorry. Let me 50-25.
Oh, there you go.
Not 45.
That
25.
sounds better.
I misread it.
That sounds a little better. 50-25. Yeah, that's the number 1 seed Menominee going up against the number 8 seed Hayward, who got there by defeating Logan 58-47 on Tuesday night.
Got me excited there.
No
Coach
kidding.
Buxton, I had to look at the bracket.
My apologies. I didn't mean to get your excitement up, Nami.
Simpson over to Hartung, breaking press.
Be smart. Be smart. There it is.
Off to Miss Levicek. And a travel called on Miss Levicek. The Riverhawks really need to settle down, especially after that timeout by Coach Roberson, and instead an error, an unlikely one too, on the senior guard. Peters, pass over and there's a travel by Quinn. Back-to-back turnovers.
The rhythm of this game continues.
Yep.
Whistle, whistle, whistle.
What is the rhythm? There is no. And that's by both teams. That's what I'm saying. Neither team can get a pace going. Miss
And at
Levitt.
this point, if there's no rhythm to the game, that heavily
And what a
favors
pass.
Central.
But right. What a pass by Hartung at the high post. Down low to Simpson.
They needed that basket too.
Yes, Strop over to the far side. Hartung, good guarding. Quinn
Nice move.
and Miss Levicek might have been 5 feet from Quinn, who put that through. Back out Hartung and give it off to Simpson, the point guard.
Can see the urgency from River Falls on defense.
Yes. Hartung off to Miss Levicek. And Miss Levicek, too strong off the backboard. 46-39, 7:20 to go, second half. Far side Quinn gives it off to Pizzi.
They are allowing no
That's-
contact at all.
But there was contact on the other side. Miss Levicek got hit. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I'm going to call it the way I see it. There was contact on Miss Levicek on the other side. No
Yep.
call.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say. Pizzi at the free throw line. I'm going to sound like a homer.
Good thing the ball don't lie.
That's for sure. Pizzi at the free throw line. 72%, as we said earlier. This is only her second free throw attempt. Double bonus for River Falls throughout the second half. And Lockington had overstepped anyway. Would have got another chance. Instead, Pizzi scores. And Simpson trying to get to the corner, or to the sideline, and Quinn just picked up a foul. That's her fourth.
And to make us not sound like homers, I didn't think that was a foul either.
I agreed. I agree. That's defender moving feet, and Simpson falling over. And the fourth foul on the freshman at 5:10. Simpson bounced past to Miss Levicek. Drops it down to Thomas, who got caught underneath the hoop, though, and misses.
It's a great cut. She just didn't know where she was on the floor. A little too far
Right.
underneath.
Peters, high post, out to Pizzi. Three-pointer, no good. Simpson there for the rebound along with Schwantz. And a jump ball called. Or what are they calling here?
Jump ball.
Yes,
Yep.
a jump ball, okay.
Boy, Pizzi does have a unique release, doesn't she?
It is kind of a shot put type
It is.
release. But hey, it's working for her. And that's off of Schwantz and out of bounds. Great defense by Thomas.
A Jack Sigma type shot. Joel, you know who Jack Sigma is?
No, I don't. That's a name
Wow.
I've never heard.
How old are you?
Coach Buxton, you know Jack Sigma?
I know exactly what Jack Sigma is.
Okay, good.
And a foul on Pizzi as that pass come to Miss Levicek. Would have been a layup for Biondo on the other side. It's a 1-1 already for Central now. Pizzi getting called for her first. Miss Levicek at the free throw line. It's only 1-1, although I marked 2 already because Nami did some home cooking on the rim, so I knew it was going to be 2 of them anyway.
Yep, that's right.
No, he called me old earlier in the year when I used Manu Ginobili. But yet he's pulling out a guy I've never heard of. Did they even have hoops back in the days when he played?
I think it's a peach basket.
A peach basket and a pigskin ball.
1 of 2 for Miss Levicek, 47-40. Central clinging to a 7-point lead. Pizzi over to the corner to Quinn. Drives past everyone, but lost the ball. Schwantz back out, top the key, Strop. No good. Schwantz, rebound, put back, nope. Biondo comes in.
Nope.
The smallest
There you
girl on the floor comes out with a rebound.
Slow down, slow down.
And Quinn ends up with it. On the turnover, Peters out to Pizzi. No, short. Peters, rebound. Passes out Quinn, deep 2. Nope, rebound Peters.
Boy, Peter's all over the boards.
Quinn inside. Shot no good. Thomas is there for the rebound. Boy, how lucky did Central get on that possession?
We dodged a big one right there.
Yes.
Big one. Little rushed on the offensive end. Slow it down.
The River Falls bench was ready to explode on a made basket there.
This is where you got to grind them down.
Yes.
A lot of passes, a lot of movement. Use some ball screens. Cut hard to the basket. You don't need the first shot.
Simpson, free throw line, like that. Buxton was calling it. Yep, I completely agree with you.
You don't necessarily need layups at this point, but you need wide open shots.
Right. You have to be selective.
Yep.
Got to be selective with your shots. Quinn off the Peters, looking for Schwantz inside. Instead, Peters goes all the way and attacks Simpson, and a high arcer off the left backboard, and good.
Peters is a good player.
She is.
Really good player.
Miss Levicek up to Lockington. Lockington, nice stop, takes one dribble and scores.
It's an interesting press that they put on. It's a 3-2, and they have the 2 at half court. They have nobody back at all.
No.
We've seen Central a couple times be able to exploit that, really banking on a turnover in the backcourt, and if you don't get that, you're giving up a layup.
You know, Brooklyn Lockington hasn't shot 22 pointers all season, and that's a floating shot by Quinn and good, because all of them have come from the three-point line.
Yep.
Miss Levicek just breaking press by herself. Down, shot, oh, too strong.
The pace is not good for Riverhawks right now. They need to slow down and get under control.
And Quinn, and a travel, pardon me, not a travel call, a timeout called by Coach Stick. And I think Coach Roberson is saying on the other side, especially for Miss Levicek on that press break, where she gets past everybody, but she's got to reset things. Instead of going and taking that shot at the free throw line, got to stop, burn the clock. It is your friend at 49-44, 4:15 to go in the second half. Central's leading by 5. In the first half, they led 34-19 if you're just joining us. It's been I'll just admit it. It's been a ton of fouls. It's double bonus for River Falls. It is 1-1 bonus for Central here in the second half, and it's been bonus time for River Falls essentially since about the 12 or 13 minute mark here in the second half.
Really interested to see if River Falls stays in this press that they have. I know they've gotten some turnovers on it, but they've also given up open layups, and at this point they can't afford to exchange baskets. You can't go 2 for 2. So I'm interested to see. They may keep some kind of a full court pressure on, but if I'm Coach Stick, I'm taking somebody and putting them back to at least have a defender if they break it.
Yeah, and especially in this next possession for River Falls is incredibly important. If they knock down a 2 or a 3 here, make it a 1-possession game, at that point, I'd pull the press off.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would too.
With 4 minutes left, you can slow them down going one-on-one full court. The danger there is you're going to have somebody guarding Simpson or Miss Levicek.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you need to press because Central hasn't shown that they're going to try and work the clock at all.
Right.
They're playing right into River Falls' hands.
Right. That's been the quick possessions, especially the last 2. Simpson took that shot at the free throw line. Miss Levicek did the same after breaking press. Peters hands it off to Strop. They're trying to get it over to Pizzi. Instead, it's Quinn on the baseline. Shut off by Thomas. Back over to Pizzi. Pass to Strop at the top of the key. Looks. Jolowitz. Pass back. Inside, Peters is working with Brixon. Thomas touched the ball and then I think hit the hand after the ball was loose. And that's what they're calling on the foul there for the 4th of Thomas.
Grazed the hand.
Well, yes. I'm not arguing that. Strop's at the free throw line for 2. Front rim, back rim, good. Strop up with 7 points. Thomas out, Simpson back in, 3:56. We've dipped under 4, second half. Second one's good for Strop.
Central needs a good possession here.
And a bucket.
Absolutely.
Miss Levicek
half-court trap.
eyeing things.
That's right where they want her.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about to pick it up.
Yep.
Smart play.
Miss Levicek throws it off of Strop. But yes, that is the worst spot to go because now you have a 3rd defender. 4th defender with the half court, plus the sideline. You got to cross half court if you're Miss Levicek. And she does, and then lost the handle.
I'd like to see him bring Alana up on the other side so that Brittany has somewhere to throw it, make that trapper have to run all the way across the court. You certainly cannot just dribble across half court and be stuck there. That's what Coach Q is going to talk to her about.
Yeah. So this will be, I guarantee, a quick substitution with Miss Levicek. Torgerud in for Ackerman. Ackerman has 4 fouls, Torgerud with 3.
We knew they were evenly matched. We knew it was going to be a close game.
Yep, absolutely.
Even when Central pulled away a little bit, you just had the feeling that River Falls wasn't done.
Peters back out. Jolowitz drives inside. Quinn. Jolowitz picked it up. Peters. This is a tough matchup for Brixton to have to guard Peters. And drop down.
Oh, my.
And the shot was missed. Strop will get back to the free throw line.
I don't know what to say at this point.
Nope, that's.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
You know, I'll call it like this. When we watch football, and I'm saying we as my wife and I, there'll be times where a receiver looks like he caught the ball, right? And then they go to the replay, and then they look it over, and they're like, well, he didn't actually have full possession, and it's an incomplete pass. And Dana will look at me, and the very first thing she'll say is, what's a catch? And I'll say, I don't know. Tonight, kind of the same way with the foul.
Yeah, really.
I don't know.
I would say right now this is probably one of the most important possessions of the game for Central. They have to get a bucket here. They have to get points. They have to make this a 3 or 4 point game.
And
now they're going to put Torgard on the line. See if they can do it.
Sarcastic clap from the Central faithful.
Jolowitz had the foul. And it will be Torgerud at the free throw line on the season for her. 31 of 43 for 72%. That's only a 1-and-1, but Torgerud scores the first. Remember, this is not double bonus time, as it's only the 8th foul on River Falls. I say only, but I mean, really, you'd think we were at double bonus time for both teams at this point. 2 knocked down for Torgerud, 51-47, 2:55 to go. Pizzi got an open look, shorted it. Torgerud there for the rebound. And another foul called. This one on Strop. And we go from one and all the way over to the other on the stroll to Grandma's house. My mom is up with us, so I'm familiar with the Grandma stroll. Sienna Torgerud at the free throw line for 1-and-1, the final of our entire ball game. Canned it.
How about the senior leader stepping to the free throw line and making some big free throws here down the stretch?
And that's important. You know, you want her to make both. The first one's the big one. You know, you got to get that first one. And putting points on the board right now, extending any lead you have.
Yes.
With 2.5 minutes left. You know, now we're talking about a 2-possession game. They've got to score, stop us, pray that they can score again.
Yep. River Falls has it.
Sorry, go.
No, it's Pizzi back over to Peters. No problem, Buxton.
Yeah, once Central gets this ball back, I would get the ball in the hands of Torgerud, Simpson, or Slavicek, and just run that clock until they foul you.
Yeah, agreed. Peters over to the far side, head fake.
Good defense. I don't know what a foul is anymore.
Hartung just fouled out. Hartung with that 10 points the other night, and she's in disbelief as well. Biondo comes in. That's the 5th foul on Hartung, and she'll get a nice round of applause, as she should, for Gracie Hartung. Season high this year was 11, and she had 10 against Sparta. I thought for sure she was going to get higher than 11 against Sparta. She had such a great night that night with the three-pointers. Peters at the free throw line for a pair.
She gave good minutes tonight, too.
She did.
Thought she played good defense. I know she got called for a couple fouls. Played good defense, had a couple nice passes, had a couple nice cuts. That's what you need from your seniors.
Yep.
Playoff time.
And here's a senior for River Falls stepping up with Ella Peters at the free throw line. Second one's through as well. Pure Silk. She's 5 of 6 at the free throw line. Looked like a substitution, but I guess no. I think one of the River Falls players wasn't sitting down at the chair next to the coaches. And Biondo's wide open underneath. Banked it in. Break and press. What a find by Simpson, too.
Great job keeping her head up and finding the open player down there. Big basket.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Nami. I understand why they're bringing the press back a little bit, but they're still extending the back line on that to the free throw line. And they just threw it over the top. That was not, you laud her for making that pass, but, I mean, it was not a tough pass. She's wide open.
Right, and underneath.
Slow down.
Strop, I don't think, knew where she was on the court. Miss Levicek dropped it off. Simpson, elbow shot, no good, short. And I'm with Buxton on that. Don't take that shot. Van Osdal was the rebounder. Peters attacking, back out.
Coach needs to make sure the girls know that there's a minute and a half left. You're up by 6. We don't need that right now.
Right. Oh, yeah, that was Simpson that shot that. Simpson's all the way in my other. And a spin move inside. Strop misses. Van Osdal blocked by Simpson. And saved. This should be out of bounds off Strop. And it is Central basketball. And Coach Roberson, I can hear him here. He, in fact, through my headset, yelling, slow down.
He's going to tell him right now.
And the timeout is actually called by River Falls. Let's get our plug in again for Kratt Lumber for providing us the ability to broadcast tonight.
Yeah, and we've said it a couple times. They've been the best in the business, lumber business, for 75 years. Partner with Kratt Lumber for all your lumber needs. Premium products, superior service. Since when, Coach Buxton?
Long time.
1948.
Few years before I was born.
1948. Jack Sikma days.
Since my father was 4 years old.
There you go.
There you go.
55-49. A little cheering section going on for Central down below as well.
You
Very impressed with the student section.
You talk about having
great job turning out.
Same.
You talk about having a business since 1948. That tells you they're doing something right.
I think so.
Stay in business for that long, 75 years.
Yeah, I will give the flowers when it's due, Mr. Buxton. I have called out that student section multiple times for the girls' games. I will definitely say tonight they brought the energy, and I, in fact, love it as a broadcaster because I can feel it, and I build off of that as well and feed off of it.
A lot of the boys' team here. I see Henry and Nick.
Shout out to Henry. He's the one that opened the door for me to get in there tonight.
Noah Dingle is here. Peyton's here.
I actually asked Henry after he opened the door and he was walking out. I said, are you coming back? I'll be here. That's the only thing he said. I'll be here. I was like, okay, sounds good. Thank you. And Miss Levicek driving in, and Pizzi reaches across the body, and Miss Levicek will go to the free throw line. Double bonus time. So I'm glad to see that the boys have come out in full force, too. We'll have their playoff game next Friday. Of course, with theirs, they only had the one home game as well. We are not getting into that discussion as we did last night. But they do have their home game next Friday. We'll be covering it, and we're hoping that we might be able to join the second one as well if we're fortunate enough to have a second game in the postseason.
Be our first road game.
Right.
Too exciting.
Second one is through for Miss Levicek. How about that? There's another, you talked senior leader and clutch free throws. A lot like that first game against River Falls where they won by 5. They hit clutch free throws down the stretch. And Tim at the top of the key. We have not seen Addie Tim shoot the ball at all the whole night. And instead, right there in a huge spot, takes the shot. Miss Levicek, quarter court. You know she'll just dance and prance all the way around. And the foul called. And it's all about free throws now. If you're the Central Riverhawks, to cling on and hold on and get this W and move on and advance. It's all about surviving and advancing here in the postseason. As what did you call this, Nami? Not the second round, which is what I was going to call it. It's the
regional semifinals.
Okay. If you say so. Tomorrow's not the final.
Tomorrow's the regional championship.
Regional final.
Regional final, regional championship. Winner of that gets a regional plaque.
Then what's the next game called?
Sectionals.
Semifinal?
Sectional semis and then sectional finals to go to state.
You have a lot to learn, young man. A lot to learn.
No, there's a lot to change. No. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that. Over on the far side, after Miss Levicek hit the 2, it's up to a 10-point lead, 59-49. Inside Peters. Too strong. Biondo with the rebound. And foul call. I thought they actually had a foul down on Peters before it looked like the whistle had blown down here. Instead, it was over to our left, and Coach Roberson had called the timeout.
Really impressed with Central tonight, being able to keep their composure. And I said it during the broadcast, but Coach Q deserves an award for his way to keep himself under control and the way to keep the girls focused on what they can control. It's easy in a game like this to get frustrated and start not playing your game because you're worried about what's going on with the officials. They did a nice job of controlling what they could control. You can't dictate how the game is going to go. Only the officials can do that. All you can do is control what you can control, and I thought they did a good job of that.
You got it all figured out, Joel. Joel's looking at the brackets right now, and he just has a look of disgust on his face.
This doesn't make any sense. Okay. I thought this would be the quarterfinal, and then the regional final would be when the bottom half of the bracket, which is on Alaska Rice Lake tonight, Toma, New Richmond. Once those two teams play on Saturday, then they would play at Toma. That's how I looked at it. Obviously, I'm wrong, and I'm an Iowa boy, and I'll admit when I'm wrong.
I was just going to say, remember the Wizard of Oz? You're not in Kansas anymore?
Correct.
Now you're not in Iowa anymore.
Ooh, Peters taking a hard fall. Miss Levicek breaking press. Far side to Lockington, and there's the foul by Peters. With only 14 seconds left. You kind of wonder if they call off the Dogs. No, the Wildcats at this point. But Peters called for a second. Lockington at the free throw line. What a gut check performance this has been for the Central Riverhawks with about 7 minutes to play. I will say the three of us up here had some concerned looks on our faces and dead on the rim and through. That thing had a thud. We don't have a mic down there, but I could hear it for Lockington. Second one, no good. Of course, her highlight of the year was that Memorial game winner, which you can watch some of the highlights. As no good for Strop and Miss Levicek. It'll be a quiet one for Miss Levicek. But overall, it doesn't matter because the Central Riverhawks win 60-49 in advance. Oh, I guess we didn't get an interview. Yeah, that's what I was hoping too. Mr. Buxton's going to try and get Alana Simpson to join us. For Simpson tonight, let's see, 10, 20, 29. I got her for 32 tonight, 6 in the second half.
Stepping up when we needed her most. That was so impressive. 14-year-old girl.
Right, Miss Levicek, 11 for her. And then 6 for Torgerud, all at the free throw line. Lockington ended up with 3. Ackerman 2, Brixton 2, Thomas 2.
Oh, yeah, the girls come over to this side, so it'll be easy.
Right, that's what.
Grab Alana and come up here real quick.
That's what Coach Buxton was trying to help us out with then, was Simpson to come over. She's being swarmed right now. We'll see if we can get her. Then, only 3 3-pointers tonight by the Riverhawks, and they all happened from Alana Simpson. 3 of 8 from deep. 17 free throws made by the Riverhawks. Go ahead, Nami.
We've seen it all year long, the potential that she has, and she's had good games here and there. She really put it all together tonight and really had it all on display. There was a time there in the first half, and I mentioned in the broadcast, they could not stop her, and I saw Coach Dick put his hands up in the air like, what do we do with this girl?
Right.
We cannot defend her. And that's a frustrating position to be in. All credit to Alana Simpson tonight. What a game.
14 tonight for Pizzi. 9 for Strop, 11 for Peters, 4 and 7 for Schwantz. Alana Simpson is joining us. Alana, you come forward, and I'll get out of the way because nobody wants to see me. They want to see you. Alana Simpson joining us. Let me grab my notes here. I had you for 26 first half points, young lady, 32 total tonight. What a battle this was.
Yeah.
A game that you have actually saw River Falls earlier in the season. A very similar game, in fact. You guys hit clutch free throws tonight. Talk about that first half, though, and getting off to such a great start because the Riverhawks desperately needed your offense.
Yeah, so we saw Brittany got into foul trouble coming out the half, so someone had to step up, score some buckets, so I was there. It was either win or go home, so I had to come out with a good first half, try to put the second half together, play a full game, and, just tempo.
The second half, especially about the 8-7 minute mark, boy, there was some concern up here. A lot of fouls, double bonus time.
Yeah.
What was Coach Roberson talking to you guys about and trying to make adjustments as well because this game was called very tight?
Yeah, basically he just told us to stop fouling, we had to play solid defense. we needed to move our feet more and not let them penetrate middle. Basically, just stop fouling.
Yeah, the middle, I know Coach Buxton was talking about that too on our broadcast as well, trying to shut down that. Tonight too, obviously closing out on three-pointers. Talk about that too on defense, because the last time you guys played, they hit 7 to 14.
Yeah.
They were hitting everything.
So basically, they penetrate middle and kick to the corner, so we stayed to the corner instead of coming to help out. So we didn't really have they didn't really attempt as many threes as last game, so that helped a lot.
Yeah, they definitely drove a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot of dribble drive penetration. For you, the growth that we have seen from game 1 to game 25, I think we are now, 26, somewhere around there, has been impressive. You've been such a phenomenal basketball player to watch grow this season. Talk about your growth and trying to learn from this great senior group, because you got a great scorer to learn from in Miss Levicek.
Yeah, Brittany. All the seniors helped me out a lot. They lead me. They push me to keep going. If coaches yelling at me or something, they keep pushing me to go. Watching Brittany score helps a lot. She scores in many different ways, so it's really fun to watch her, get some tips from her, stuff like that. Yeah.
For you, is it hard sometimes, because we sit up here and go, boy, I wish Alana Simpson would be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish Alana Simpson would be a little bit more selfish. Do you have a hard time doing that yourself because of the fact that, you are a freshman?
Not necessarily that. I just like to pass. I don't know. I like giving people the ball so they can score. I like throwing the dime, the open pass. That's more of my game. But, today it was a different story.
It was definitely a different story. And at one point, Nami had even said she's unguardable. And you were. Your first half, 26 points. Congratulations on the W. Nami, I realize you do have a headset on, so you can ask a question if you like.
I got 2 questions for her.
2?
2, yep.
We're running out of time.
We're here till 9. The first one was, we saw Nick Williams in a boys game earlier this year have a half similar to you had in the first half, and we asked him afterwards, did you feel like you could get to the basket anytime you wanted, and his answer was yes. You had all of your offensive game working tonight. Did you feel like they couldn't stop you at all?
Of course they couldn't stop me. Yeah, I just kept going. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was watching their coach too. He had the same reaction. We can't stop her. He put his hands up in the air at one point and said, I don't know what to do with this girl. So that's a credit to you. The other question I have, you have a unique perspective with your dad on the coaching staff. How has that been? Has it been awesome to be able to kind of bond with him over basketball? I know he works with you a ton on your game. I said at one point during the broadcast you played a lot like he used to play tonight, being able to score. Has that been fun playing with him as your coach?
Yeah, he pushes me a lot. He's he can go to his coach mode. He also goes to his dad mode. So, it gets difficult sometimes, but he's just there to help me. He pushes me, all that stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's a hard balance to go back and forth between dad and coach.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, great win tonight. Congratulations on the 32 and the victory. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Alana Simpson joining us. What a ball game she had. The freshman phenomenon for the Central Riverhawks. 32 points, 11 for Miss Levicek, 17 to 25 at the free throw line. The Riverhawks went tonight 3 of 8 from deep. I honestly didn't even add up the free throws for the River Falls Wildcats. There's a ton of them. I think they shot over 20 as well. So,
well, how about Central making their free throws down the stretch? And
yes.
That could have been a different game. It was a 5-point game at one point. Maybe even closer to a 3-point game at one point.
Right.
And it really came down to free throws at the end, and we had some senior players that got to the free throw line. Sienna Torgerud had 4 of them.
Miss Levicek hit a couple.
And that's what you're looking for from your seniors.
And then Brooklyn Lockington also had one up there. So,
yep.
Final thoughts by you boys before we shut her down for the night. What a win.
It's a good win. It's one they should celebrate for about the next half an hour.
Yeah, I was actually going to say 20 minutes.
Maybe 20 minutes, because they got to turn around and head to Menominee tomorrow, a team that early in the season did a lot of things to make us look like we were in a very good basketball team.
They can beat Menominee.
They can beat Menominee. If they play in the first half, we can beat Menominee for sure.
That game was 69 to 41 that Buxton is alluding to. It was the very first game of the year at November 15th.
Luckily with the coaching staff like we have with Q and Les and Katie and the group, they're prepped for tomorrow. They spent the week prepping for 2 teams and what they needed to do. Now, they've got to talk about reinforcing those ideas, the things they worked on in practice, get the game plan back in the girls' heads. And, like I said, you can celebrate this for about 20 minutes. I'm sure they're going to go crazy for Alana down the locker room here in a second. But you know what? We're 0-0.
Right.
After tonight. We got to go 1-0 tomorrow as well.
Yeah, huge win for the girls. My gosh, Simpson, that first half, I could put a whole nother highlight reel just together in just Alana's first half. 60-49 the final. The Central Riverhawks moving on. We do want to thank again our sponsor for tonight, Kratt Lumber.
Hit it, Nami.
Yeah, Kratt Lumber, best in the business, 75 years. Be sure to partner with Kratt Lumber for all of your lumber needs. Premium products, superior service since 1948. Coach Buxton has the phone number up on the screen, I believe.
Yep, 608-788-2600 for the lacrosse office.
So we can thank Kratt Lumber for providing this game for us tonight by giving them our business.
Absolutely. We'll be back with you next Friday when the boys are in action in the postseason. They'll face either Hayward or Toma on March 3rd. 60-49, the Central Riverhawks oust the River Falls Wildcats here tonight. As for Nami George and Josh Buxton, I'm Joel McCall. Thank you so much.